Shabbat Shalom, beautiful Pnei Orchevra, extended family and friends far and wide. Today we are reading a difficult Parsha. It opens with a complicated story from which we must extract a transformative message. It is the story of Pinchas, a Kohen. He is the grandson of Aharon, the son of Elazar, both of whom were high priests. He was in a very public leadership role, way up there in the lineage, not a small-timer. The Parsha opens zooming in on a lurid incident in which Pinchas makes a violently rash decision based on being witness to a shockingly destructive acting out on the part of two equally public figures. The situation is sexual and explosive. Let's just make sure that we all know the same thing about Pinchas and what's going on. Start with Bil'am from last week. He is the famous shaman, the sorcerer who was hired by Balak, king of Moab, to curse our people. Instead of cursing us, he sings out the words of blessing with which we begin most every service. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. We do kind of love him for that. Balak, as you recall, is furious. Asks Bilam to work up another plan. He does. The plan is to seduce and co-opt rather than confront. It is X-rated. Beautiful Midianite women will be deployed to seduce our men into relationships that suck us into decadence and idolatry, and destroy our solidarity and commitment to our new path. We will be dismantled from within. Beginning at the top, Midianite princess Cosby is deployed to seduce a tribal prince, Zimri, and pave the way for the plan to unfold at all levels. Zimri falls for it. Flagrantly, he brings Cosby back into our camp in an open challenge to Moshe's leadership. They strip and make love publicly. Pinchas is white hot enraged. With a violent vigilante intervention, he puts a stop to this act of defiance. A plague is averted, and Torah, in God's voice, awards Pinchas a blessing. An eternal Brit Shalom, a covenant of peace, and an eternal priesthood for his descendants. But his violence is problematic, and the reward is not actually so obvious. Is it a reward? Is it a corrective? Is it some of both? Many commentators will say that Pinchas's deed, however problematic for us, can be seen as an insistence on the holiness of sexuality, that sex is a part of a holy covenant and not about lust or idolatry. Okay, true. But that is actually only a sliver of what is going on here. Understanding this story hangs on a peculiarity in the Torah text. In the Torah, right there in the phrase, covenant of shalom, brit shalom. The word shalom is spelled with one letter, purposefully broken. The letter vav is broken in half. It is a broken vav. This is very significant. In the translations, it is entirely missed. But it is the core of the story, that broken vav in the word shalom. So, if you're willing to travel with me a tad, I will share with you some Torah on this that I learned from my brilliant chaver, Rabbi Sami Barth. He opened this text for me in a mind-blowing way. Let's dive in. And the breath of life speaks to Moshe, saying, Pinchas, the son of Elazar, the son of Aharon the Kohen, Heshiv et chamati me'al b'nei Yisrael. He has Heshiv, turned back my anger from the children Yisrael. V'kan'o et kinati b'tocham. In that he kin'od my kin'ah. He was zealous for my sake among them, so that I did not put an end to Bnei Yisrael in my kin'ah, in my zealousness. Hineni noten lo et briti shalom. Therefore I give to him my brit shalom, my covenant of peace. There are volumes written on the whole story of Pinchas. But there are two key words to really grasp onto: Heshiv and Kin'ah. Come with me. Let's start with Heshiv. Heshiv et chamati. He turned back my anger. He heshived my anger. What does heshiv mean? Well, it's the same root as teshuvah. Heshiv has the sense of turning back. To turn back, to return, to give back. In modern Hebrew, you buy an iPhone and it's defective. Heshiv oto et hechanut. You take it back to the store. So it's like sending something back where it came from, returning it or deflecting it. God says he turned back my anger. He sent me back my anger. Pinchas has some inner quality that enables him to tune into the divine. He's a lightning rod for the full force of the transmission, a magnet for God's anger. He somehow is able to absorb the full force of it and deflect it, or most of it, back to God. For this, God is grateful. What was the inner quality that Pinchas used to send back God's anger? Well, that takes us to the other key word, kin'ah. It's a strange verb. And it's here in a very strange phrase. B'kan'o et kinati. The translation of this word, kinah, into English is always zeal. Well, what does zeal mean in English? Passion, excitement, mission, fervor. Powerful, but unstable. B'kan'o et kinati. He kin'od my kin'ah. Somehow, Pinchas can get on the same kin'ah wavelength as God. He can share God's kin'ah. He can stand in the flow of kin'ah so powerfully that he can engage it, and more importantly, catch it and deflect it. Because of this, God's rage is sent back to the store. Kin'ah is a quality Pinchas and God share. God owns that. So, Pinchas' neshama and the divine neshama can both vibrate at that frequency. This makes Pinchas both a lightning rod and a deflector. For this, God is grateful. Any one of us in that situation would be. When righteous rage boils over, but the consequences could be horrible, and thankfully someone who is on our wavelength steps in and can deflect the rage and save the situation, or at least mostly. Therefore, God says, I give him my covenant of shalom. Now remember, again, that the vav in the word shalom in the Torah is broken in half. There's a tradition around that. It reflects a discomfort with Pinchas's violent zealotry, and a sense that since Shalom is one of God's names, the brokenness of the Vav is like a brokenness in God's name. Some harm has been deflected, but some fundamental damage has been done. There is now brokenness in the God field and in the world that awaits repair through a commitment to restoring shalom. Hold this in mind, because we're going to ask how that happens. What restores the wholeness of God's name and the wholeness of shalom, given the damage that violence causes? Let's jump a few centuries. Remember Eliyahu Hanavi, the prophet Elijah? We put a chair for Eliyahu Hanavi at the ceremony of Brit Milah. We pour a cup for Eliyahu Hanavi at the Pesach Seder. We invoke Eliyahu at the end of Shabbat every week. We pray, may Eliyahu Hanavi come and bring the messianic possibility closer, closer. May the longed-for time of a world of shalom and harmony come in our days. You may never have had it pointed out to you, but in the liturgy of Brit Milah, this Brit Shalom bit from the story of Pinchas is chanted right before we point to the chair set aside for Eliyahu Hanavi. How odd, you might say. Why would that be? Are you ready? It is because there is a tradition that Pinchas and Eliyahu Hanavi, that Pinchas and Elijah the prophet are one in the same, that they are the same person. Let that sink in. It's not that Pinchas reincarnates centuries later as Eliyahu Hanavi. No. A most ancient midrash claims that simply they are one and the same person. That Pinchas lived for a long time and grew up to become Eliyahu. This is all heading to someplace very powerful. Let's travel to one last place. We're headed to the very last sentence in the last book of the prophets. What is the final prophetic utterance in the entire book of prophets? This is good to know. Well, who is the last prophet? Malachi. But Malachi is not a proper name. It just means my messenger. The text is speaking about a particular messenger and what that messenger will accomplish. The text is speaking about Eliyahu Hanavi and his tikkun. And wow! The prophetic text describes the role of God's messenger using a word we just saw. V'heshiv. V'heshiv lev avot al banim, v'lev banim al avot, and he will heshiv, return, the heart of the parents to the children, and the heart of the children to their parents. The text is speaking about Pinchas, who has become Eliyahu, and how he can restore shalom. Yes, Pinchas heshived, turned back God's anger, but his act of violence broke the vav in shalom, and now he must learn to fix it. How? We need this verse from Malachi because we need to know what the tikkun is, what repair Pinchas learns to do when he becomes Eliyahu. He becomes the great messenger of intergenerational love. Could there be a message for us here? Yes. First of all, we also must learn what we need to learn and become who we need to become in order to fix everything we do that breaks the vav of shalom. And most especially, we can mend the breaches between the generations. We can heal intergenerational trauma, restore the flow of love and caring, restore compassion. Okay, this was big. We have a big task. There is a big need. And we will have one big aliyah. We each have a role to play in healing trauma. Don't we see that most poignantly right now? Restoring wholeness and the flow of compassion. If there is a way that this intention calls to you, when we call the aliyah to Torah, please rise. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We enter the gate of Torah. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Dvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah li'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Dvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah. Dvar Adonai miYerushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai iti, Uniramima
Shemo
As we enter this gate of Torah, we again read from the 300-year-old Sephardi scroll that Jack's father rescued in late 1941 from Nazi-occupied Paris. So beautiful friends, we each have a role to play in healing trauma, in restoring wholeness and the flow of compassion. If there is a way, a particular way in which this intention calls to you right now, please rise wherever you are and reach out to Torah.
ויעזור ויגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר
אמן.
הכל הבו גודל אלוהינו ותנו כבוד לתורה יעמדו לתורה.
Everyone rise who wishes.
ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך
לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קרבה בנו לעבודתו ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. וישב ישראל בשיטים, ויחל העם לזנות אל בנות מואב, ותקראנה לעם לזבחי אלוהיהן, ויאכל העם וישתחוו לאלוהיהן. ויצמד ישראל ועל פאור, ויחרף אדוני בישראל. So Balak says, send in the girls. Yisrael, dwelling in Shittim, went whoring with the daughters of Moab, and they called them into the sacrificial rituals of their gods, and the people ate of those sacrifices, and therefore they went off seduced into worshiping Baal Peor. The Kodesh Baruch Hu was not amused. The anger of Yah flared up on Yisrael. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Kach et kol roshei ha'am v'hoka'atam l'Adonai neged hashamesh. וישוב חרון אף אדוני מישראל. ויאמר משה לשופטי ישראל, הרגו איש אנשיו הנצמדים לבעל פאור. So now Yah says to Moshe, okay, take the heads of the people at the dawning of the sun and take all of those who have turned aside to Baal Peor and execute them, so that the rage of Yah may come back away from Yisrael. So Moshe says to the judges in Israel, go out and kill all of those who were worshipping Baal Peor. And now, suddenly, in the midst of all this, there's a plague. Thousands die. והנה איש מבני ישראל בא ויקרב אל אחיו את המדיינית לעיני משה ולעיני כל עדת בני ישראל והם הבוכים פתח אוהל מועד. And just as all the people were coming weeping to Moshe because of the plague, suddenly one of the tribal leaders sassays into the crowd, bringing with him one of the princesses of Moab, and they go into the Ohel Moed, and there they are together. Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon HaKohen. Pinchas, the son of Elazar, the son of Aaron, the Kohen, sees this happening. And he gets up and leaves the crowd and goes off and finds a spear. Vayikach romach be'ado. Vayavo achar ish Yisrael akuba. And he follows those two people into the chamber. And he impales the two of them simultaneously because they were together. ויקור את שניהם את איש ישראל ואת האישה אל קובתה ותיעצר המגפה מעל בני ישראל, and the plague stops. ויהיו המתים במגפה 24,000 וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור. Now Yah speaks to Moshe saying, Pinchas, the son of Elazar, son of Aaron o Kohen, has deflected my rage from hitting the people Yisrael by showing my kind of zealousness in his zealousness. And therefore I did not schmeiss the whole house of children of Israel in my zealousness. Lachein emor, therefore, put out the word, I now give him a covenant to become a man of shalom, that he and his seed after him would have the covenant because they will become the family of Kohanim in the heart of the people, because they showed the true zealousness to serve Elohim. And therefore, they will have the ability to seek atonement for the whole house of Yisrael. Lachen emor, hineni noten lo et beriti. Shalom, v'hayeta lo zaro acharav berit kehunat olam, tachat asher kinei lelohav, vayechaper al bnei Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu ruach haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet,
v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Challenging story. May the one who has blessed all of our ancestors bless everyone who has risen today to honor Shabbos, to honor Torah, to honor God. That we grow up to become the people who manage anger so that it need not become violence. Let's become the ones who restore the loving connection between the generations. Let us be the ones who restore the flow of compassion for all of us. B'mehera v'yameinu.
Amen.
This story and our world calls out for healing. At this time, we offer prayers for healing, inviting everyone to call out the name of anyone to whom you would wish that our healing prayers be sent from Torah through you to someone or ones you love. Naturally, of course, at this time we hold very much in our hearts everyone who is suffering from the surges in coronavirus and the heroic healthcare workers who daily risk their lives to save life. If you wish to rise and literally or virtually reach out to someone making a chain to Torah, we make a chain of healing as we call out the ancient words that Moshe Rabbeinu called out when Miriam, his sister, was stricken, and he prayed, Ana el na rafana la, please God, please heal. And she was healed. We hit pause at this time so that everyone can call out any names that wish to be evoked. May there be healing of body and healing of spirit for us, for each one of us, and for all those whom we hold in our heart. May the broken vav of shalom be repaired. May we learn what we need to learn and become who we need to become in order to keep fixing and healing everything that we do that breaks the vav of shalom. And may there be a complete healing for all of us. B'mehera v'yameinu.
Amen.
Today would be good. We remain standing or rise in our place as we are able, as the scroll is lifted.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ויד משה ישראל ואורייתא קודשא בריחו חנו ישראל ואורייתא קודשא בריחו חנו תורה אורה תורה אורה הללויה תורה אורה תורה אורה הללויה
Hallelujah.
תורה אורה תורה אורה הללויה תורה אורה תורה אורה הללויה עץ חיים למחזיקים בה
May we learn what we need to learn and become who we need to become in order to keep fixing everything we do that breaks the vav of shalom. For we hold in our hearts a vision of the way the world can be, a world flowing with love, caring, and compassion, a world flowing with shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Shalom is where we're headed. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom. prayers for shalom, we offer a Kaddish Yatom, a mourner's Kaddish. That all of those for whom a mourner's Kaddish is offered this morning will know a soul ascent higher and higher into the light of wholeness, completion, fulfillment, and peace. You can hit pause at this time to call out the names of those for whom a Kaddish Yatom is offered today. Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbo, be'olma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye chon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'v'zman kari v'imru amen, yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'olmei olmaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיה, היא תעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. And may there be a soul ascent for everyone for whom a Kaddish Yatom is offered this morning. We come in for a landing. Ein Kelohenu.
En Kelohenu, En Kadonenu, En Kemaenu, En Kemoshienu, En Kelohenu, En Kadonenu, En Kemaenu, En Moshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemaenu, Moshienu, Michelohenu, Michadonenu, Michemalenu, Michemalenu, Elohenu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emaenu, Nodel Moshienu, Nodel Elohenu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.